Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us for this webinar at Villas Valriche. So, ahead of our upcoming roadshow in South Africa next month, we thought about touching base with you to share some important and exciting insights about what's happening here and what's happening in the future. So during the coming 45 minutes, our panel of experts will tell you more about the premier estates at Villas Valriche here and how they can be purchased. And on the panel today, we have Anton de Waal, CEO of Villas Valriche. Hi, Anton.
Greetings.
We have also, and some may be surprised to see him here, we have Ray Jennings, master champion wicketkeeper, cricketer, coach, and merchant at heart.
Thank you
with us.
Thank you.
We also have Roshan Nathoo, who is the managing director of Rogers Capital, and joining us today also we have Peet, Strauss, who is the development sales manager at Palm Golding International. And I am Rabin Bhujun. I'm your host for this discussion today. Anton, let's kick off the discussion with you if you want to. The current 180 homeowners of Heritage Villas Valriche live in an estate nestled between the sea, just in front of us, and the mountains at the back. This is a world-class resort with 2 5-star hotels here. We have the #1 golf course of the island here. We also have a private beach club, 12 restaurants, and other amenities. But I'm just sharing facts and figures with you. What's at the heart? What's at the core of Villas Valriche, Anton?
Yeah, thanks, Rabin, and greetings to everybody that's joined us from around the world and to our friends and our colleagues here. I think you said what's at the heart, and I think you mentioned two elements. First of all, the homeowners are at the heart of what we do, and sustainability is the heart of what we do. So obviously starting with the homeowners, Villas Valriche, together with its homeowners over the past 15 years, has had a fantastic ride, and we've seen some extraordinary changes, positive changes in the socioeconomic conditions in Mauritius over the last 15 years. And I think what's gone with that is a great improvement in the standard of living of everybody, as well as what goes with that is an improvement in safety, security on the island for the local population, firstly, because that's what drives the socioeconomic fabric of the place, but also for people that are relocating into Mauritius. It's comforting to know that you're entering into a country which is growing with happy people, fully employed people, well-educated people. I think that creates a great environment, okay? Also, what's comforting to the homeowners in this environment is that we are nestled in a UNESCO Man and Biosphere. Now, what does that mean? That means we form part of a region in the southwest of the island, which has the most unspoilt lagoon, undoubtedly the most unspoilt lagoon in the island. Bellom traditionally hasn't had good connectivity, road connectivity, so it's been one of the last areas to develop. So our lagoon is pristine. We have some beautiful natural beaches. And so as homeowners, and I'm sure Ray will agree with me, we are really privileged to form part of this UNESCO Man and Biosphere. Then in terms of sustainability, a lot of people talk about sustainability, but it is at the core of what we do at Heritage Villas Valriche. We do it from top down and from bottom up, and it's always important to look at the small things first. Things like water. We recycle water from the estate for irrigation. We recycle waste. We've created a glass crushing plant, so any glass waste that we produce is crushed and then reused as aggregates and things like that. Our hotels offer carbon neutral stays, which I think is a first in Mauritius as well. And then also, if you look around at the development at Heritage Villas Valriche, more than 80% of the development area is green and common space. So we really live by our commitment to have a low-density lung for the environment. So I think from that perspective, I think we're living up to what we've put as our vision, and that's to create sustainable tropical art de vivre. And I think Ray can tell us more about his art de vivre later on. But that's really, what you ask about the core of Valriche is its homeowners and its commitment to sustainability.
Thank you for addressing so much the why and the how of Villas Valriche. But Anton, just before we started this live session, we were discussing about some exciting news coming the way of our viewers. Could you maybe share that with them?
Yeah, thank you. Well, there are many, many exciting things that happen at Heritage Villas Valriche. Most of the exciting things we do are related to outdoor activities. For example, we have the GKA World Kiteboarding Championships hosted at Belom next to Villas Valriche. We also have numerous mountain biking trails and running trails, hiking trails, which are hosted in the area. But I think the most exciting bit of news at the moment is what we call Pure Golf Drama, which is the new golf course, which are
raise all ears.
Raise all ears.
About golfing. Yes.
So Rogers Hospitality is busy developing and putting its final touches on a new PGA accredited second golf course for Belom, which we're very, very proud of. For people in Southern Africa, you'll all know Peter Matkovich. I think he's probably the most prolific golf course developer in the Southern African region. So we're very happy to have him as our golf course designer. And he's teamed up with Louis Oosthuizen. Louis, as you know, is a South African. He won the US Open. He also had a very good season last year. So we're very happy to have his input on that golf course. So all the ingredients are there for a very exciting golf experience. And coming back to our previous discussion about sustainability, we'll also be one of the first golf courses in Mauritius, I think the first one that's we fully accredited as a GEO golf course, GEO registered golf course, which is the environmental accreditation for golf courses in terms of your utilization of or non-utilization of pesticides, herbicides, more efficient utilization of water, choosing endemic species so that you don't use too much water. So we're really excited about that. There'll be a soft opening in April next year for members, and then the proper opening will be in December next year for the Fraser Bank Mauritius Open International Competition. That, for the people that don't know, it's a tri-sanctioned event on the European Tour, Asian Tour, and Sunshine Tour, the biggest golf event in Mauritius, and it happens every 2 years over here. So we're very excited about having that here, but I'm just looking at Peet and Ray. I think they're probably going to sneak on the golf course before that and can tell us about the golfing drama.
Now, Anton, you're speaking about what is going to happen here, but there are also very interesting things happening on another front, the legislative front. Yes. Could you maybe share with the people watching us what has happened recently regarding residency?
Yes, very exciting times, and I think Roshan will probably be able to give us more of the legal framework into what has happened. But one of the really exciting new laws that's come in is the ability to buy a villa on a shared basis, and that's new in Mauritius. It's never been permitted before. So basically what we did is we've worked with Rogers Capital and Rogers Legal to make sure that whatever we structure for our clients works for them in the long term and also fully compliant with the regulations. We've worked with Rogers. We've also worked with the Economic Development Board to make sure that what we're doing is totally consistent with the policy. But in a nutshell, what we're producing is a investment of $458,000. Peet can correct me, but $458,000 will get you a suite of family residence permits. Okay, that's for the investor, the spouse, as well as children under certain circumstances. So that investment will get you the suite of residence permits, but it will also give you a 1/3 share in a company which owns a villa. Okay, and that's new in Mauritius. And that one, in terms of the shareholders agreement, that 1/3 share will entitle you to up to 4 months of usage of the villa in every year. Okay, so you have usage of that asset. And when you're not using the asset, you can put it into the very well-established Villas Valriche rental pool, so you can generate income from that when you're not using it. And what's also interesting from the residence permit perspective is whilst you might only use the villa for 4 months, you are a permanent resident in Mauritius. So you could, for example, live in Mocha, rent an apartment in Mocha, and come to Valriche as and when you want. But that residence permit entitles you and your family to permanent residency in Mauritius.
Thank you, Anton, and thank you for watching. May I remind you that this is an interactive session, and we aim to have roughly a third of this session tackled through Q&As. So you're most welcome to send in your questions, and we'll be taking them in a couple of minutes, maybe 10, 15 minutes at maximum. And meanwhile, let me turn to Peet now. So Peet, Villa Valriche is special. Anton has just given us an idea, an understanding of why it is so. And Palm Golding, for which you work, Palm Golding Properties was founded more than 50 years ago and has been operating in Mauritius since 2001. That's quite a long relationship that you have with Mauritius, and you are currently the leader in real estate sales to international and local clients alike here. So Pete, tell us maybe a little more why you chose to enter in such a close collaboration with Villas Valriche.
Thanks, Rabin, and welcome everybody. I think it's very important to understand that we look at trends and what is happening. And what we've seen on the island in the last 20 years that we've been here, I think I can remember a conference here in 2006 with Pam dancing on the beach. So have been here for a long time. But what we've seen is certain areas developing and how that development has moved. So the north has seen a huge change over the last 10 years. That move is now going west and south, which is where we are, southwest. And I think that will see the whole area change over the next 10 years. What we have at Valriche is obviously we do want to keep the authentic and privileged lifestyle that we've got, low density developments, and that will continue for the next 10 years. Then a second thing that we've obviously noticed is that there's a trend of people buying back into big estates. I think Anton mentioned it. And if you look at what we can see here, unfortunately you can't see it yet, but to take a development from scratch and create this takes many, many years and lots of money to get it to this stage. So unless you have something like Valriche where you can add onto, I don't think this will be repeated often in Mauritius, if ever. I think that's going to be sort of less and less of this going to happen. So we see people trending back into the bigger estates where you get part of all the amenities that's around you that you cannot repeat in a smaller development. That can't happen. Then our third trend that we're looking at is obviously the expat situation. I think if I look at Mauritius and we look at the negative population growth and an aging population, there is a task for Mauritius to bring people back to Mauritius and make sure that they have their businesses here, make sure that they have kids here and live here. So I feel that the next 10, 15 years will be very good for expatriates who wants to make their life here and open their businesses here. There's some very good tax structures. Roshan and his company can obviously inform you on that. So the fourth trend, which has been going for a long time, and I think which is very important, is that all the transactions here happens in dollars and euros, which means as a South African, you'll get into hard currency quite comfortably and quite easy. And once you're in that currency, you will buy and sell again in that. And transferring money out of Mauritius to anywhere in the world is quite easy. So all positive. I think we see the trends, the development trends happening.
I think as a South African, we'll all identify with exchange controls.
I think
we have none of those here.
Absolutely true. We go under strict exchange controls in South Africa, so it's quite a new thing for us. So yeah, I think positive. I think the trend is here, and the bigger estates is making a comeback.
So maybe Pete, could you tell us how the products that are on offer here at Villas Valriche meet the demand and the needs of your clients in South Africa and elsewhere?
Yeah, Rabin, important. I think Anton started the thing, and it is critical to understand what this means for us as South Africans and worldwide. So it's the first time that there's a possibility of a joint ownership, which means you will buy a share in a villa in Valriche, which normally would have cost you $1.5 million or more to get into it, with all the amenities around you. And now you will own 1/3 share of that. It'll give you 4 months of the year here, either holiday or a living year, swallows, whatever, however you want to use it. But the important thing for us as South Africans is obviously the residency that is attached to that. Because it's $458,000, you're through the threshold of $375, so you will qualify for residency. And a very important fact is that the residency works up and down, which means your parents will have residency by default, and all your dependents under 24 will get residency. So it's an exciting product. I think there are many usages for it, and we will still discover more and more as we go along. The other part that excites me, if you take Valriche and you look at what's happened over the last 10, 15 years, I think it is, the pricing that's been prevalent throughout Mauritius is that this was expensive. But with the cost escalations and construction costs going up, they're becoming more and more relevant again, these bigger estates. So now you can buy into a bigger estate. You can actually buy a plot of land here. I think our land sale price starts at $350,000.
$50,000, yes.
Including taxes, about $367,500, I think is the correct figure. And then you can build your own home. Now that in itself has got huge economic advantages if you can actually build your own house. We've got very good...
So Peet, you don't pay sales commission on the construction cost.
Correct. But Anton, let's not go there now. But what is important is that we've got very good project managers in Mauritius, which can go take you through this thing. Yes, it's an island. It might take you 6 months longer, but you will get there, and the economical upswing of that is huge if you build your own house. So I think we've got plots that we've even earmarked for investors. I think it's 6 plots at a time. There's a reason why it's 6 plots. You will fall under the PDS scheme, which is Property Development Scheme, which allows overseas purchasers to buy from you. So some exciting products. Love the joint ownership thing for South Africans. But if you like your own villa, come and build here.
Speaking about joint ownership, Peet, you and Anton, before you have talked about the joint ownership element. So how could someone buying property here use the joint ownership element to the maximum effect?
So, Rabin, I see a few usages for it. So obviously the first usage is in the retirement space. Second usage is obviously in your all year round usage. And very importantly is then holiday. So let's take one example out of those usages. A family, for example, 3 siblings, if they buy each one a share, so they buy the 3 shares, that means they own the villa in all 3 shares. The parents can reside here all year round in a safe and secure environment where we have power and water. And you will get your residency for yourself. In other words, the 3 siblings will get the residency and all their dependents will get the residency. That's one usage of it. There are a few others, but that sort of covers a retirement, a holiday thing with grandchildren, and an all year round usage. So quite a few and very exciting.
The feedback has been good.
I think so. I think we've got a number of people that we need to see in South Africa. They're waiting for us. We're going from the 12th of November. I think we're leaving. So we'll be in South Africa with this, to launch this, plus all the other things that are happening here.
Speaking about feedback, nothing beats actual, true first-hand experience on Villa Valriche estate. So, Ray, we have seen you hold some spectacular catches in your lifetime, but I am made to understand that you believe that your home here counts as one of your best catches, actually. Is that true?
That's absolutely true, because the catch that I've got here is extended for a long period of time, not like a cricketing catch where it's actually a split second and you actually don't even know what you've done. I arrived here in...
Easy to drop either.
Yeah, but sometimes depends on the eyes at the moment. In 2006, I managed to arrive here and go around the estate on a truck, the back of a truck, and it was just sugarcane all over. It was a very high risk for myself to actually invest in the place. But looking back in 16 years, I've seen this place go from strength to strength. I'm feeling very content. I'm kept myself busy. I play a lot of golf. I've got a scooter. I do the shopping for my wife on the scooter. There's tennis courts. There's a gymnasium. So there's a lot of activity. I spend a lot of time with new friends. People come and go around the world. I can't speak French, but that's where Anton comes into it. He speaks French and we translate. But it's fantastic to you
even have a personal translator here at Villa Valriche. It's great.
It's very difficult to speak French, but sign language actually works quite well. So I've had a lot of fun here, and to me, I'm in a very happy space. I'm happy with my wife. I'm happy with the environment, and I know I'm safe. I don't go to sleep at night with worries. I'm content, and I suppose the last quarter of your life, you need to be in that state.
And from your experience as a homeowner, Ray, would you say that you have also found a home potentially for other members of your family? Yeah.
Yes, look, being so confident with the environment, and we're not dealing with a fly-by-night company. I've advised my wife and her husband to invest here, which they've actually done 3 months ago. My daughter, sorry, did I say my husband?
You're the second wife, right?
You have information that we don't.
Yeah, so my daughter's got involved, and they over the moon. And I know down the line, I might be up in heaven one day, but they're going to thank me because I've seen this place just get better and better as the days go by.
Ray, you're an accomplished outdoorsman. Sorry, and we see how the weather is right here, right now. How do you rate the weather here?
Well, look, I've been around the world, and I was doing a lot of coaching, and my wife was getting involved with coaching at 8 o'clock at night during the winter periods in South Africa, and people will tell you how cold it is. And I decided that a happy wife is a happy life, and to bring her here in the winter period was...
Anton doesn't look convinced by this.
I can promise you now, it's worked.
No worries.
It's worked. She's happy. She loves the hot weather. It's not too hot. But, to me, I do a bit of gardening. The weather's fantastic. People around make me a consultant, which I'm having a lot of fun. So the weather to me is the only problem when I get on my scooter. Sometimes I've got to judge the weather and hide behind various trees to stop getting wet. But it's a funny type of water, this. It's not cold. By the time I'm finished my trip on my scooter, I'm definitely dry by the time I'm finished. So I can't... Happy wife, happy weather, content, what else? I'm happy.
Thank you for that great slice of life.
Of the weekly Ray Jennings challenge.
Yes, I've actually started a golf tournament. Every Friday we have a golf tournament. So anybody in the estate contacts me and we start our own golf tournament, which, it's a family in golf. Sometimes they get into trouble because they spend a little bit too much time at the clubhouse with some beers. So.
Beware of the unhappy wife.
Thank you. Play as well. Huh?
Thank you, Ray. So let's turn now to Roshan. Roshan Rogers Capital Corporate provides a host of services to people willing to purchase property in Mauritius. Could you briefly maybe start by explaining to our viewers which services does your managed company actually provide and offer? Then maybe tell them how you're working with Villas Valriche to ease the process of investment and purchase of property over here.
Thank you, Rabin. Good morning or good afternoon to our viewers. So Rogers Capital Corporate is a management company in Mauritius. We are basically a fiduciary services provider. We provide corporate and trust services to a range of mostly international clients. We are part of the Rogers Group, which is one of the promoters of Villas Valriche. So what we do, we set up structures, be it holding companies, trust structures, funds, partnership, etc., for our clients for their international activities. So that's normally investment holding, international trading, patent holdings, etc., fund structures. So we do all of that. We set up the structures, we do the administration, we look after all legal and compliance matters and the tax filings, etc. So all of that is done by our company. So in addition to that work for international clients in respect of their international activities, in respect of Villas Valriche, we can also get involved, and we have gotten involved, to set up holding structures for clients wishing to purchase property here. So a lot of them purchase in their own personal name, but some of them, for various reasons, would prefer using a holding company or a trust or a partnership to purchase that property. And this is where we get involved. So we set up that structure, and after that, we do the administration of that structure for them. So hassle-free, one point of contact, and being part of the same one group, which is the Rogers Group.
So I'm sure people watching us actually have some very practical considerations and maybe very practical questions. Let me preempt on one of them. So what about inheritance tax, for example, which is a very practical consideration for people investing in Mauritius?
Okay. So just to answer directly to that question, there is no inheritance tax in Mauritius. But depending on how you hold that property in Mauritius, you have varying degree of flexibility. There is no one size that fits all in terms of how you own the property, but you have to be looking at why and how you want to hold that property. So for example, if you were to use that property, say a few months in a year, and then rent it out the rest of the year, you might want to use a company for that matter. to hold that property, because that will give certainty to income that is generated and expenses that is generated, and then you can pay your taxes, etc., and whatever rent that you charge. So this is one of the practical considerations. Other considerations is that if you were to own the property in your own personal name, then we have forced heirship rules in Mauritius. That is, you cannot disown some of your, say, children or your spouse, so there is a certain allocation to them, and that is if you were to own that property in your personal name. But if you own that property through a company, then you're actually owning shares in a company which itself is owning the property, then that's a different story. You have flexibility there as to who you want to give those shares if you are no longer around. So all these practical considerations may seem a pain, but I think that it would be time very well spent before you embark on such a project. I know there's the excitement of holding and acquiring a property in Mauritius, but time well spent to actually look into those things about how you want to structure this, and then once it's done, it's done for life. Right? You don't have to go back and look after that later on.
That's a very practical perspective on the purchase and the investment, Roshan. But there are also wider considerations. The economy, for example, the wider context. How would you say that the economy is doing right here, right now in Mauritius, and how has been the post-COVID recovery process going on?
Okay, so I'm a Mauritian citizen, so I'll be slightly biased there probably, but I think in the end the facts and the figures that we have will speak for themselves. So until 2020, that is during the lockdown year, we've had actually more than 35 years of continuous economic growth. That's 35 years. And I don't think there are many, if at all, any countries that can boast such an achievement. So in 2020, we had a negative growth of about 14%. That can be explained, by obvious reasons. But since then, in 2021, the economy grew by more than, it was 3.7% approximately. That's the rate in 2021. And in 2022, it's expected to be 7% growth in the economy. So that's quite an achievement, and that's quite a bouncing back, I think, from where we were and where we are now. Another feature of the economy is that we've been quite resilient, despite the challenges that we've had. During the lockdown, obviously, there was more than 25% of the contributor to the GDP of Mauritius, which was gone, and that was tourism. We didn't have any tourists at all. That's 25%. Still, we managed throughout little unemployment. Growth was there. The health and sanitary sort of challenges were well handled. So all this went on quite well. So we've been quite resilient as a country. The other sectors of the economy, like manufacturing, financial services, were functioning almost, I would say, at normal. They could not have been normal at that time, but almost there at normal. But now we are really going ahead full speed. And to share something with you, since the borders have opened up last year, but especially over the past 3 months, I've never seen so many tourists in the streets of Port Louis in my life. And Port Louis is obviously our capital city. So many people coming in. It's revenge travel, revenge tourism, whatever you call it. But people just love the place, and they want to come and spend some good times here. So in a nutshell, I'm pretty confident about the way we are going, the direction that we are going, on the basis of our resilience, of our performance in the past. There can be no two ways. The ways can only be positive going forward.
Thank you so much, Roshan. We've learned so much during this first segment of the discussion. We'll now turn to your questions, and you're most welcome to send them right now and in the coming minutes. So let's open the floor and hear from some questions that have come in. So I have one here. Someone was asking, Ray just said that with Rogers, it is not a fly-by-night operation. Why does he say that? I guess Roshan would be the one to answer that question.
No, I think it's a good sort of statement by Ray. I obviously concur with that. So Rogers Group has been in existence in Mauritius for more than 120 years. That's a lot of years. And our services, management, corporate, fiduciary services, we've been doing that business for more than 30 years. We have over $40 billion of assets under management, under administration for our clients. And even the group has more than 5,000 employees. And our business itself, it's more than 200 employees. So there's lots of people, and we've been around for a long time. We have clients from more than 42 countries around the world, a lot of them from South Africa and Africa, but doing diverse types of business. So I think we are definitely here to stay, and Rogers obviously is one of the promoters of the major promoter of Villa Valriche.
To add to what you're saying, from a property perspective, Rogers and ENL are basically associated groups, and they put together, they're probably number 2 and number 3 on the Stock Exchange of Mauritius. And one of the key elements of Rogers and ENL is property. So between the two companies, we're probably the largest developers of property in Mauritius. If you look at the Bagatelle Mall of Mauritius, it was the first major mall that was built. That was the ENL group. Essentia is a Rogers company which runs most of the big malls in Mauritius. So mall development, the Mocha Smart City is done by the ENL group. La Balise Marina, which is the first marina development ever in Mauritius, 135 units. That was also done by ENL Property. The Savannah Smart City is being developed by ENL Property as well. So I think from all of those elements, we certainly are a dominant player in the Mauritian economy. And thanks, Ray. I guess that qualifies us not to be fly by night.
It makes me happy to hear the detail. So I'm personally, I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
So what was your personal experience, Ray? Why do you actually say it's not a fly-by-night operation? How efficient was the process in getting you here and getting your property ready for you?
Well, I think
Differentiate between efficient and slow.
well, both. I think anybody investing in any property is a very big chunk of their life.
Of course.
It's probably the major asset. And in 2006, when I actually looked at it, it was a huge fear. And I think there's so many people that have that fear, and it comes to what do you want to say? The fear actually becomes a reality. Me, it's actually gone the complete opposite way. I've seen this growth. I've seen trees from this side grow big. I've seen golf courses being built. I've seen better and bigger people arrive at the place. I've seen family units start building. So everything has just worked out, you know. And I'm very thankful and blessed to have been given that opportunity. And here I sit, happy man, and a happy wife.
And I have another question. I think, Anton, you were mentioning the fact that started my introduction with those 2 5-star hotels, world-class golf course, actually the leading one in the country, a beach club, 12 restaurants, etc. I have a question here. Someone asking, is it part of the deal? Is it part of the deal?
Absolutely.
Critical, very good question. Yeah.
Yeah, no, sure. It is part of the deal, if you want to call it that. I think we have, again, as we're doing with the new product, we've really structured it well to make sure that when you enter into Valriche, you become part of this ecosystem, and a social ecosystem where you can socialize and enjoy the facilities. So you have guaranteed contractual access until 2069 to the neighboring hotels, to the beaches, which not many people can offer you from a contractual perspective because it's been properly structured. I think that is, yes, very, very much so. It is part of the deal. You can go to the beach, you can go to the hotels, you can use the hotel facilities, you get discounts at the hotel restaurants, you get discount at the new Sea Beach Club, you form part of the golf course. So very much so, we provide an ecosystem, which I think is probably the strongest part of our.
And Rabin, I must add that even at our joint ownership, all 3 of those shares, they will qualify for the same benefits. So it's a huge advantage.
Peet, if I'm not wrong, I think it's quite a unique offer in the country. as far as this whole ecosystem of golf course, restaurants, so many five-star hotels combined with the property offer.
We are the first estate like Villas Valriche to offer this product on the market.
I must add to that as well. There's no traffic jams and robots. You get in your golf cart and it takes you about 5 minutes to get to the hotel. So when you arrive here, you don't need a vehicle. You need a golf cart, which gets provided with a villa, and you need a scooter to get on and smell the fresh air from the sea.
And it's 2 degrees cooler.
2 degrees cooler.
South, yeah.
In fact,
it's very nice.
the golf cart initiative worked quite well. We thought when we started selling the properties, we thought it would be nice to offer a golf cart. But what it's done is a sort of secondary effect. You see very few motor vehicles driving around the estate. Everybody uses golf carts. It's quiet. And in terms of our sustainability objectives, eventually wanting to go off grid, eventually wanting to have their plans that will soon materialize in terms of photovoltaic power generation, eventually we can get to a stage where even mobility on the estate can be green in terms of sustainable energy. So it's actually worked out quite well in the end, the whole golf cart initiative.
So we have more questions coming in. One person who is watching asks, can you elaborate on what kind of properties are available in the 3 or 4 bedrooms range for permanent residence? I know if it's Peet or Anton who would answer that.
Well, Peet, you can take that one. I think.
We can answer it together, but there are obviously a wide range of product available. There are 1 or 2 resale villas, which we have 4 and 3 bedroom villas available. There are new designs, which is the contemporary villas, which was recently done, South African architect, and that also has got 2, 3 and 4 bedroom designs in there. 40 stands available that you can build these on. And I think the price range, if one wants to know, the villas starts from $1.3 million. I'm talking the new contemporary designs from $1.3 million, and they range up to $4.5 million. So that's about, the whole gist of it. There's contemporary, there are resales.
Find any product for anybody on their estate. It's
true.
really
I think it is a versatile.
variety.
Yeah, very versatile.
People can also buy plot of land, right?
I think that's one of the things I mentioned as one of the things that I really get excited about, is that there is this opportunity to purchase your own plot and then build your own house with designers on it.
I think that comes with, the estate's been around for 15 years. And when you get past the critical mass in terms of infrastructure that you've developed and number of units that you've built, the government allows you to sell serviced land to foreigners, which is not something generally available.
Absolutely.
And that's something that's actually taken off quite well. People come in, we have a very good set of architectural landscaping guidelines. We take it very seriously. So basically people come in, they buy a plot of land, their architects can design within the architectural guidelines, and they can run their own construction project.
And I just want to put something in somebody's head when they watch this, that parents look after their kids for 15, 20 years when they grow up. It's time now that the kids start looking after the parents and invest a family a unit where the parents get a portion of when it's cold in South Africa, you can come and spend time here, and then the kids can enjoy the holiday period where it's nice and warm and have a lot of fun. So the whole total household benefits.
That's
I have to start paying Ray some commission soon, I think.
Thank you. Perfect segue to a question that has just come in, Ray. So someone asking, I have children from different, very specific and practical question. Indeed, I have children from different marriages. Can they all have resident permits? Who would like to, maybe Roshan?
Yeah. So the law says it's dependent children. Independent children. So as long as the children are dependent on you, yes. So there used to be some limitation on age, etc. at some point, which is now gone.
But only one spouse.
One spouse. Yeah, only one spouse, but dependent children. So that's what the laws say. So I think depending on the circumstances, obviously, for the person asking that question, it's a similar sort of situation for probably not quite a few, but a few buyers here. But as long as the children depend on that parent to,
And the same goes for access to all of the amenities.
to, yeah.
So whoever's in your home
yes.
can go to the hotels and go to the beach. Same sort of.
Thank you. We're nearing the end of our discussion. Maybe I'll have a quick round back to you guys, just to share with our viewers something that you think that they should take away from this discussion today. Anton, may I start with you?
Oh, thanks for putting me on the spot. But just really, I think if you're looking to form part of a place which has substance, real substance, which has good people, you have good neighbors, you form part of a community, then Valriche is the place for you. You also form part of an ecosystem, which I think everybody that's been here has really grown to love and enjoy. So that's really what we appeal for. We appeal to people that are wanting a life of substance and to share in a community.
I think what's very important to me is that people understand the offering around the villa. It's a world-class estate with world-class hotels, world-class amenities, and you're part of that. It's in the estate. And I think that's critical that people understand that a beach club is not a beach. It's a beach club with restaurants and things happening and water sports and all kinds of things. Golf course. So very difficult to replace this, very difficult as a smaller developer. You can never have these amenities around you. So remember that the villa is one small part of what you actually buy into. That's for me an important part.
All right.
I think happiness is the most important thing. You could have money and you could have the most beautiful wife in the world, and if you're not happy, that's meaningless. I think you have one life. You need to make the most of it and get in a happy space. And good decisions make you happy. And, as I said to you from the start, I'm content and I'm happy. So make a good decision. Hopefully the lights are on a lot of people's brains and eyes back in South Africa.
Thank you, Ray. Let's close with Roshan, maybe with some last words.
Yeah, so I'll make a parallel with the financial services sector. I think we've been successful as a financial services center for various reasons, but one which is pertinent also to coming to work and live here is political, economic stability and a really peaceful place. So people can relate to that, whether you want to put your money here or work and live here. So that's applicable to, that's pertinent to all the people. So I think this is one of the rare places where you have all these ingredients there to make you actually have a fulfilling and complete life.
Unemployment levels are less than 70%, 92% literacy rates.
Absolutely. And it's an actual country of substance. There are actually more than 1.3 million people living and working here. Different cultures. We are a nation of immigrants, so we've all been immigrants coming here, and we've made the place what it is now. So join us.
I think the other thing is the medical side, some people's concerns. In the last 2 years, I've had two of my friends have triple and quad bypasses, and they rate the hospital over here as one of the top in the world.
That's a very
interesting
thing to say.
Good point.
Thank you.
I think that is a fear when you get a certain age like myself, things start falling apart.
Absolutely. Well cared for here. Thank you very much, Ray. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for this great interactive session. To the viewers out there, please feel free to reach out to the respective teams of Peet, of Roshan, and of Anton if you have any questions. And we hope to welcome you here in Mauritius the next time. Till then, thank you very much. It was a pleasure. Good afternoon.